Some like Consciouztv. Or no like go down. In the club, hopping with my niggas. All love rocking on them jiggers. On the money. You ain't talking money, I don't hear you. You ain't gotta touch my own feet. That's good, that's good. Born about my skill. All my niggas monkeys, we gorillas. All my niggas clutching, we some hitters. Birds on my timeline, call it Twitter. I'm in the club, bopping with my niggas. All love, rocking on them chicks. You ain't talking money, I don't need it. You ain't gotta touch my own feet. That's good. Born about my skill. All my niggas monkeys, we gorillas. All my niggas clutching, we some hitters. Birds on my timeline, call it Twitter. That's good. Born about my skill. We ain't fucking with you niggas. I'm coming through, me and all my boys smoking loud. I ain't hearing you, Kodak bring the noise. Every year, Christmas day, I ain't wanna play with toys. Project baby came from highway to riding in the foreign. And my diamonds come from Tokyo. Yo. Power high come from Tokyo. I call them Ching Choi. Money growing tree. Can you show me where they grew that big? You can have a fine girl, you'll switch and rule that big. Boy, you know that, it's the Kodak. You already knew that shit. I'm about my cheese cheddar chip. That codeine, my medicine. Friend of know you, 1800 block. Yeah, I represent. I got lots of guap, that's why I'm arrogant. In the club, hopping with my niggas. All love, rocking on them jiggers. You ain't talking money, I don't hear you. You ain't gotta touch my own feet. That's good. Born about my skill. All my niggas monkeys, we gorillas. All my niggas clutching, we some hitters. Birds on my timeline, call it Twitter. I put it up on your way, you owe me, son. Early morning, where I get that money. I asked them for a plate, they left me hungry. So I'm out here wildin' out with my youngest. I need that still. This little nigga love that fatty. I be smoking broccoli. Mama told me eat my veggies. Polo down, that got me in a flexin'. Call me Roll Lord. I was in the project splitting. I was still around for it. Then I rock my wrist with VVS, and now I'm in the door. You know the kid finessing. He's a savage young boy. I took so much and lost his minute sad. My mama used to dig all in my stash. I'm in the club, bopping with my niggas. All love, rocking on them chicks. You ain't talking money, I don't hear you. You ain't gotta touch my own feet. That's good. Born about my skill. All my niggas monkeys, we gorillas. All my niggas clutching, we some hitters. Birds on my timeline, call it Twitter. That's good.
What's going on, Conscious Crew? It's your favorite breakdown commentator. Welcome to the sanctuary. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday and had an even more awesome weekend. Okay, kind of going to get into some discussions. Some news that you can kind of use and apply. We're going to explore some things, possibly drop the link. But before we do so, please go ahead and run those likes all the way up. You guys know that the like feature helps boost the YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary. So please run those likes up. We need all of that. Okay, YouTube is making so many ridiculous changes to the platform, and it's impacting all content creators, small, big, and mid alike. So smash and bully and abuse the hell out of that like feature. Also, if you enjoy everything that the King does here, you can always donate to the platform at $Consciouztv on Cash App and or paypal.me/Consciouztv, and that's conscious with the Z on the end, spelled just like it is here on the channel. My moderators typically rotate the social media handles and donation links in the chat, but it's also in the scroll here from right to left at the bottom of the live stream. Oh, yes, it is. Also, Make sure that you have your notifications on so that you never miss a day or hour when the King is in fact King. And last but not least, please share the stream out to whatever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the link. Just like them stinking ass whores know that we're loud, we're live, and we're certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, CTV isn't scared of nobody. That's what I like about him. He will call you. Maddie knew. Oh, y'all getting into that. Oh, okay. I know Maddie has talked about Charlie Kirk, Kim. I don't know if she's specifically spoken about Charlie Kirk, speaking on queer people, but I mean, Charlie Kirk is, trash. That just generally insulting him is enough to cover all the entire spectrum, honey. Everything he said about women, gays, trans, Black people, etc. Just generally insulting him is, kind of enough to cover the spectrum. But I do know that her and Craig, the mistress, spoke about Charlie Kirk in one of their gag talk shows. But let me speak to the country crew in the building. What's going on, Shauna? Hi, rumors. Oh, I'm talking about hi, rumors, girl. I got rumors in the background. What is going on, Medusa? Hi, honey. Hey, Kimani. What's going on, Intersex? What's going on, Layla? Hey, Britt. What's going on, Madison? Hey, Darius. Hey, Michael. What's going on, Vinny Dan? What's going on, Bubs? Hey, y'all. Hey, Sin. Hey, Penelope. What's going on, Kim? Hey, St. Marquise. Hey, Lady. Hey, Deanna. What's going on, AJ? Hi, Ian Gardner. Hey, Karen. What's going on, Lady Virgo? Hey, Ashley. Hi. What's going on? Roxati. Hey, Sherry. What's going on, Nina? Hey, Hester. Hey, boo. What's going on, Yolanda? Hey, Bring the Mess. Hey. What's going on, Spiritual Read? Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody. All right, you guys. So we got quite a few things to get into. And I'm so curious to know what you guys think about some of the things and some of the conversations that are happening over in the Red Pill community and Black woman spaces, especially as it relates to Ayesha Curry. But we're going to get to her. Before we get into this docket, I want to bring up my handy dandy moderator, and she's also an amazing commentator as well, Rumors and Tea. Hi, Rumors.
Hey, Conscious.
How are you today?
I'm so freaking fantastic. Hey, crew. Happy Sunday evening.
Sunday.
Yes. I feel really good. Very sober, very self-aware, very relaxed. All of the great things.
All the things, honey. All the things.
Yeah.
Anything whipping up for this Sunday? Anything on the stove? What are you feasting on?
Yeah, so I'm feasting on absolutely nothing. I had a cup of mushroom coffee. That's, a few glasses of water throughout the day. But my children are cooking their Sunday dinner, baked chicken, homemade mashed potatoes, rice, and cabbage and mixed vegetables, So they'll be eating really good for the, most part.
Yes, eating the baby's child. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm happy to have you here. And depending on how you feel, we good for dropping the link at the end because typically, especially when it comes to one of these topics, it usually get the girls kind of riled up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have to drop the link.
Right. I'm for it. Although
Mm-hmm.
sometimes these conversations can be very like taxing.
Yeah.
When people intentionally are not being truthful.
Mm.
But I do understand how necessary it is. So although I can get very exhausted
Yeah.
with the conversations, I understand the necessity for them. So I am looking forward to having an open, honest. That's what I want, ladies. Like, so please share the link, the live out, and let's have a truthful conversation because I'm all about holding my community accountable.
Yeah.
But I need my community to be brave enough to be vulnerable and honest because that's the only way we're going to correct a lot of this toxic inherited behavior from, patriarchy. So, yeah, I'm ready to have the conversation.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, speaking of that, let's go ahead and run the first topic then, right off the rip. And I'm in the same place as you, which is typically why I have to have a companion when I'm speaking about anything regarding gender and sexuality. I'm just like, I don't even have the gas in me to deal with this conversation. But like you said, privately, we know it's a conversation that has to keep going because despite living in the 21st century and being very educated people, there are still people who apparently got their GEDs from bear caves and people walking around with all type of outdated information and ideas about society and existence. And there's just so much miseducation on top of propaganda, especially as it relates to queer people and the way that we've been narrated, thanks to the church, which helped shape a lot of the misinformation that's out there about queerness. So shout out to the church for making all queer people's lives a living hell in this system. But speaking of queer people, T.S. Madison, who you guys know, has her own podcast. I believe it's called Outlaw, right? Yeah, Outlaws podcast. And she sits down with various guests. I think she had Tina Knowles on one of the episodes. She had Lumel, the comedian, on. She's had like all type of different media personalities on the show. Well, on her latest episode of the Outcast podcast, Outlaws, I'm an Outcast girl, Outlaws podcast, she sat down with Cherry the Boom girl. Now, some of you may not be too familiar with Cherry the Boom. Cherry the Boom also was on the Supreme Queen's Court. She was one of Maddie's guests. She's really big over on Bigo. She's also another trans woman, very controversial. She's had very notable beefs with Flame Monroe, honey. Her and Flame just had a versus match. I think it was the last year, if I'm not mistaken, child. Cherry also is, very, how can I put this? Straightforward. She likes to speak her mind. She calls all other things out and all other people out, and she don't give a damn about how any one group feels. So she's definitely tugged on the wigs of her own trans peers. She's tugged on the wigs of her gay male peers. She's tugged on the wigs of bio women, honey. Okay, there's nobody who don't get tugged on. Okay, she kind of reminds me of me. Well, in one part of Maddie and Cherry the Boom's discussion, they spoke about the dynamics between trans women and bio women and kind of address this notion that there are some members of the bio woman community who are jealous and feel inferior toward trans women. And you're going to now hear TS and Cherry the Boom speak on the thing. Speak on it, Delicious. Speak on it. All right, check out this excerpt. Let me refresh this page real quick, actually.
You openly say Oh, bitches is jealous. The women can be jealous of me as a. I don't get into using those words because I know that that's a super trigger for a woman. Bitch, for a female, that is a trick. If you, because I've seen you tell females
on purpose, intentionally,
and you see I don't do that. You know I don't do it. I'll be like, because I know this is gonna drive them crazy. Now, do I think it? I think it's some roots. They're rooted in something. But you openly tell a female, I've seen you do this. Bitch, you jealous of me. And you know, a female's thing is, how could I be jealous of a carbon copy? I'd like you to elaborate on what you mean.
Girl, I'm so glad you asked me that, because there's all their response. How can I be jealous? I'm the real thing. So if you're the real thing, why are you angry? If I want to be you, why do you need to say that?
You openly say, oh, bitches is jealous. Women can be jealous of me as a. I don't get into using those words because
to see the television shows like Maury and Jerry Springer and Ricky Lake, and is it a man or is it a woman? It's a transsexual, it's a transgender. And even though I didn't know how that was possible, I knew that was me. It's representation. You see my existence. I don't want to be you. I don't want to have periods. I don't want children. You have nothing that I want. When it came to this woman, that was hormone therapy. I've always known how I wanted to present before I even knew what transgender was. Back in the day when I was a kid, I used to see the television shows like Maury and Jerry Springer and Ricky Lake. And is it a man or is it a woman? And when I tell women that they're jealous and their response is, how could I be? Look at you. Oh, that's really what it's all about. Our physical. Yes, we are women inside of here, but they can't see inside. They only see our physical, and this physical is what has you in an uproar. You can call it fake, you can call it this, you can call it that, but it's mine. There's a lot of biological women out here with fake breasts and ass and hips and teeth. So why aren't their bodies fake? Y'all are jealous. That's what it is, girl. It's jealousy. And they need to be reminded of that. And again, when I speak like that, it's not all women. You know, they be quick to be like, oh, y'all hate us. Y'all are jealous of us. No, sweetie. If y'all left us alone, there would be no problem.
So what does leaving us alone look like to you?
Leaving us alone is allowing us to be. Leaving us alone is staying in your place. Leaving us alone is not feeling obligated that it is your business to tell a man what's between our legs or what we were born. And when I tell women that they're jealous and their response is, how could I be? Look at you. Oh, that's really what it's all about. Our physical. Yes, we are women inside of here, but they can only. That's what leaving us alone is. Leaving us alone is not trying to figure out who's having sex with us because we all fucking the same man.
Well, do you truly believe that we're all fucking the same man?
Absolutely. I deal with husbands all the time, boyfriends all the time. It's not something that I'm proud of, but it is also a part of the reason why I'm single, because I see how they do you. So you can't be the blueprint. I allow you to be you and exist. Why can't we? And I'm just not one of those girls who are asking to be friends. I'm not one of those girls that are asking for you to allow me to be myself. I'm not looking for your approval. I'm not looking for your acceptance. I'm not looking for your opinion. None of that matters to me. That's what leaving us alone is. Leaving us alone is not trying to figure out who's.
Wow. There's a lot there. Do we need to run that back, or you think we good on the?
I think you should run the last one back.
Okay, this one here.
Yes.
Having sex with us because we all fucking the same man.
Well, do you truly believe that we're all fucking the same man?
Absolutely. I deal with husbands all the time, boyfriends all the time. It's not something that I'm proud of, but it is also a part of the reason why I'm single, because I see how they do you. So you can't be the blueprint. I allow you to be you and exist. Why can't we? And I'm just not one of those girls who are asking to be friends. I'm not one of those girls that are asking for you to allow me to be myself. I'm not looking for your approval. I'm not looking for your acceptance. I'm not looking for your opinion. None of that matters to me. That's what leaving us alone is. Leaving us alone is not trying to figure out who's having sex with us because we all fucking the same man.
All right. I'm gonna let you get into that first. Rumors.
So that last clip was so loaded with so much truth. And I'm really not interested in debating that with any natural born, aka cisgendered female,
And just for the record,
because
just for the record, you are a natural
natural born, cisgendered female. Okay. I know this to be true because when it comes to women's community, we're like that with other natural born cisgender women. The reality is, and it's not even just with trans women, we're like this with same gender loving people as well. And that is the root of it all, to be honest, is jealousy. And I understand why that has come to be in regards to how patriarchy has really brainwashed us to be against each other. But there was so much truth there. Like, I don't know why people are so concerned with, other than the possibility that your partner could be having an affair and not disclosing that information in regards to your safety, but even to put, because I mean, I can even challenge that, even to put your trust in your mate to the extent that you're not protecting yourself, it is not their responsibility. But we don't ever stand in that because the majority of us are so trusting coming from a place, not 100%, but coming from a place of what I believe is, I don't want to say desperation, but honestly, desperation. Just wanting someone, having the need to have a partner and a mate, and putting so much of our trust into that person that we neglect to protect ourselves in a reasonable way, that we literally target the other person and make them the bad guy in a situation. And it's kind of crazy because when you think about it, I often tell females in conversation, like, are you willing to put a GUN in someone's hand and allow them to play Russian roulette with you? If you cannot trust that putting a GUN in someone else's hand and allowing them to play the game of Russian roulette with you, then why are you doing it when it comes to your sexual practices? That is the best analogy I can give to someone, because we're too trusting, and then we hold others accountable for our lack of self-awareness and providing boundaries. And we've all been guilty of doing it, but providing the boundaries we need to ultimately place ourselves first and do what's in the best of our own self-interest. Because we just think people are going to love us and be good to us the same way that we are to them. And that comes from a place of naiveness, in my opinion, and that borderlines damn near desperation. But a lot of people aren't willing to have that type of conversation, because then it takes the sole responsibility off of the other person and puts it onto them. And I think that women's community, we have to stop doing that. There is a lot of truth. Most cisgender women that I've spoken to, their main issue is two things. One, part A is, oh, they want to be us. They're in our space because they want our men. The same talking points we have when it comes to the other race of women, right? And then the other talking point is that a lot of them don't see, like, you have to battle it out to get it out of them. They still identify that person as a male. And because we have so much trauma when it comes to male community, you can't see beyond that. So now we have two major issues that is causing so much division, when in totality, I could never and will never be threatened by any other individual. I don't care how you show up and identify. That is your business. You are not a threat to me. I feel I'm so uniquely made that is what's for me is for me. And at this moment in time, it's not for me, so be it. But I think that comes with a level of self-awareness and self-assurance within yourself. A lot of people have not been single conscious, have not learned to give to themselves what they look and crave from others.
Right.
And because of that, there is a slight entitlement that we have, which is really crazy as hell. The entitlement to feel like someone else should give to you what you're not even giving to yourself. So we get mad and we feel robbed and we feel threatened. But we'll never, ever say that, because for some reason, being truthful to that point is like being vulnerable, and people think being vulnerable makes you weak.
Mm.
It's just really crazy to me. I don't understand. If you feel like we are the blueprint, what the hell are you threatened for? Why are you upset? We want the truth, right? We want the truth, but we're not willing to tell the truth and live in our truth. We say these niggas ain't no good, right? F these niggas. So why are we so hung up on who they screwing? We don't want them. We claim we want allyship, right? Protect the black woman. Speak up for the black woman. Why do we go against those that are speaking up for us? Why do we attack those that have the same experiences that we have? Why are we doing this? So be honest with yourselves and do the work first and foremost. If you can't say it out loud right now, say, like, I really want people, because it's not an attack on my cisgender sisters. I just really want us to look at ourselves deeply and say what you can't say to someone else first. Say it out loud to yourself. That's the first step to literally getting healed and doing better, so that we can bridge the gap, because we need the allyship. We need it. It's no way around it.
Okay, so I got some questions for you, especially as, you know, a member of the natural born bio woman's community. I don't use the term cisgender just out of respect for the majority of my audience who has sounded off and said they don't like the term cisgender. So I don't use the term cisgender. What do you think about the comment? Because there's a lot of great comments in the chat that I'm going to get you to respond to too. But what do you think about this whole, the blueprint? Oh, bio women, not the blueprint. The blueprint. Trans women are not the blueprint. Did you have any feelings about a Cherry Boom saying, "Why would I want to be you? Like, you're not the blueprint"?
I know that.
And what do you think she means by that, since she's falling literally under the term trans woman?
Well, first and foremost, I know Cherry's speaking out of frustration because of all of her experiences, right? And let me set the record straight. I am so not into labels. This whole gender stuff. I am a spiritual being. I was happened to be placed in the body that I was for whatever reason. The universe and the creator decided this is the body they wanted to give me, right? But I am a spirit in a vessel. I know for a fact that most human beings don't see themselves that way. And so they cling to the labels that we have been given. Okay. In regards to this whole blueprint thing.
Yes. The blueprint. Because it's been a lot of, who's the blueprint?
I mean, in totality, right? If we go back and do the research on a lot of things, I've had conversations with people about, males putting on wigs and, dressing in this and dressing in that. And I'm like, have you people ever studied history?
No, they haven't.
Because I don't believe, from what I've ever researched, I don't believe that woman was the first to put on a wig.
They weren't. Actually, wigs and makeup was a unisex and a cultural practice amongst tribes. Men in wigs, eyeliner, tattooing, body modifications, all that stuff has always been unisex, multi-sex. You can go all the way back to pre-colonized Africa. You can go back to Egypt and see the aesthetics of our ancestors all across the world, and particularly Africa. Even high heels were initially made for men. Then women adopted them. If you look on your dollar bill, you can literally see most of your presidents are in fronts without laces on their heads. So to your point about history, yeah, you know, wigs, makeup, playing in clay, adoring yourself in jewels, etc. Those things more so were cultural than being assigned to gender per se. Like the gender situation is kind of particularly a Western box, but ancient people, most men were in robes. Look at a lot of the ancient soldiers who were fighting in skirts because skirts had more mobility. So it was easier for a soldier to ride a horse, to yield a sword, to high kick someone in the fucking chin during battle, or to protect their community, or to protect the empress or the king, etc. Yeah, just a little lookbook through history. But to the point about blueprint, for Cherry to say that as a Western trans woman, that women are not the blueprint, I would have to disagree. Of course, bio women are the blueprint. Like Cherry is emulating natural born woman. I mean, men certainly aren't born with titties, or I should say males. Males aren't born with big juicy titties. You know, males aren't particularly the ones in society being groomed to indulge in beauty and cosmetics and long hair. These are all things that trans women are assimilating to. So, of course, females in the West is what trans women in the West are emulating. I will agree that trans women also, the LGBT community as a general, yes, we add to the palette because we bring our own creativity into the mix. Trans women have been cited as kind of taking femininity. Hold on, let me be careful how I say this. I'm not even going to say what I'm going to say because I'm going to try to say very clean in this conversation. But LGBT people largely make up a lot of influencers and makeup artists and hairdressers, etc. That's also, a lot of people don't even know that LGBT people in the realm of cosmetics and hair is also historical. If you look at eunuchs, not only were eunuchs typically occupied political positions, but they worked in the harem. They would be responsible for the wardrobe and the upkeep and the grooming of the royal women and the royal men. They would take care of the kingdom, of the castle, of the lawn. All of that gets into interior design, interior decorating, which lots of LGBT people particularly participate in and feel called to in terms of those occupational roles. So,
but Conscious, here's the truth.
Yes.
The LGBTQAI plus community has greatly exaggerated those aesthetics, right? But we know that it came from patriarchy in the Western world. Patriarchy is the cause of why having big breast, BBLs, has become the standard for what identifies, quote unquote, what they say identifies female.
Yes,
And
I would agree that patriarchy has greatly influenced even women's standards. But also, I mean, I feel like the trans women honestly even got the whole voluptuous aesthetic from the video vixens who were bringing in that type of aesthetic. They were bringing in the big titties, the small waist, the big ass, even if it was natural curves, but that, you know, that form was something that got also adopted by trans women too. Now we know that like the cosmetic procedures, obviously like trans women have popularized a lot of things like facial feminization procedures, but for obvious reasons, you know, because they're transitioning and editing their male biology in order to assimilate to the female aesthetic. And now you have natural born women who are also getting facial feminization surgeries, who are quote unquote, you know, wanting to look more effeminate, etc. Which is why I said earlier, like, obviously, queer people, we add to the color of it all. Like, we add our creative punch to what we are adopting, but trans women and trans men are adopting female and male.
Which I think is sad. Honestly, I think it's sad for natural born and trans women. I think it is really sad. Like, I'm not really here to actually crucify, because if a person wants to enhance what they believe to be more feminine, to each his own, right? But it's only because of how they've been programmed. Because we know that women's community in a large amount of us are not a monolith. Like, we don't all look alike. You have a lot of women, right, that look more masculine. We were not all created to look identical, to have hips, curves, big boobs, you know, high cheekbones, you know, things of that nature. But because we've been programmed, and because we've been made to feel less than, because we don't have, large majority of people today are getting into formation, and they're falling into the practices of assimilating to what the male community deem as feminine. That is crazy as hell to me, considering when you look at it, you go through all of these procedures and you still have the same damn outcome. You're still not finding yourself. You may have a little bit more attention, but you're still not getting the treatment that you want.
And to your point, Rumors, to your point, and you just hit it on the nail. That is the most pathetic and sad part about both trans women and bio women kind of like fighting over this territory, because both territories are informed by patriarchy largely. And to your point, it's not giving anybody on either side qualified immunity, because everybody's being cheated on. Both sides are not being chosen. And both sides are just reduced to extreme insecurity, self-loathing, and contention amongst one another. Because to your point, like, after all of that, like Cherry the Boom and T.S. Madison said, fucking the same men. So who's really the win? It's not a win for trans women. It's not a win for bio women either. And ultimately, the system that men created is what's actually the problem, and been the problem, to your point, not just between trans women and bio women, but between bio women and bio women. And, you know, I grew up with lots of bio women who could not stand other bio women. They did not prefer other bio women as girlfriends. They more so enjoyed the company of men. They felt like other women were catty and attitudey and territorial. We live in the age of social media, and Maury and Jerry Springer also can see that, you know, women have collapsed over fighting over men. Oftentimes, we're still having an issue, even in modern society, of women, when they get cheated on, focusing on the side piece rather than the actual man, who's the real issue. And both sides are assimilating. Well, so trans women are assimilating for two reasons. They're assimilating to attract the male gaze. And I think that most women would be insincere, bio and trans, if they denied that how they show up, in part, it might not have to be the full reason, but in part is definitely for the sake of the male gaze. But for two, trans women are assimilating for safety too, because there's an issue of transphobia. The more womanly a trans woman looks, the more passing privilege she has. But to both of our points, right, that's interesting, because there's still no qualified immunity, because even if you pass as a trans woman, all you've done is inherited the sexism that comes with being a woman. So you're still not out of the woods of danger. Now you've entered into the realm of sexism. You have to deal with the components and the reality of that discrimination and prejudice. We know that women make up out of both genders, the group that's the most trafficked, especially sex trafficked. Trans women just kind of move from one struggle into another struggle, and then you also inherit just the way that women naturally engage other women. So now you've moved into this realm of jealousy, women comparing themselves to other women, women sizing each other up, and the unconscious competitive nature that women generally hold against other women. And I am saying that in a general sense. So I don't need nobody saying, not me, I'm not jealous of other women, I am a girl's girl. I'm not. It's a general statement. But go ahead, Roman.
Yeah, if it doesn't apply, you're supposed to let it fly. Yeah, so like I stated earlier in the top of the dissertation, I need for women's community to really be honest, and be honest with yourself first. What you can't say out loud to someone else, please say it out loud. Like I said, I've been saying consistently for the last 4 years, it starts with self first and awareness. The things that make me uncomfortable to say to someone else, in order for me, and I realize when it makes me feel uncomfortable, there's something there for me to truly do a deep dive and examine myself. Like, why is it making me uncomfortable? And I then say it out of my mouth, because it makes it more tangible when I say it from my mouth. And I do the work from there. The reality is, we can't say protect, and I'm only speaking to the Black woman now, okay? We can't say protect Black woman. We have no one to protect us, right? And then we have a community of women, be it trans, because it's not just the trans versus quote, and you may not say cisgender, but I'm going to say cisgender, because I cannot give in to ignorance. Me, myself, personally. It is not a derogatory statement. And I'm a person that believes in calling a thing, right? So for me, I am a cisgender woman. When it comes to cisgender and natural born women, we have so many issues with one another. I'm not surprised that we have issues with trans women. And we have to be honest with ourselves and just call a thing. It does not apply to everyone, because there are, believe it or not, Conscious, there are a lot of quote unquote natural born women that are not threatened.
There are, and I know them. I'm friends with those women. They are.
And what is unfortunate, though, is that a lot of them won't speak up, though.
They won't. But this comment here is a prime example. Why should us females who are naturally born with these features be jealous of someone who has to get theirs through surgery? That's kind of like to the point. You don't have to be, but unfortunately, there are women, and the same women who are so-called jealous of trans women are also jealous of other women, natural born women, who have those same features, who has a big ass, who has bigger titties, who has a smaller waist, has a flatter stomach, has more socially acceptable beauty. Are we, Lady Virgo and Nurse Sam, pretending as if women's community is a conglomerate of confident women who walk in their own lanes and don't have other issues with women and don't have issues with their body? Because like trans women, natural born women also suffer from body dysmorphia. We can literally see through the data and the statistics that women make up the biggest consumers of cosmetic surgery. There's literally a quadrillion-dollar beauty industry that caters to women's community, caters to the insecurity of women, which to me, in Ruma's point, is sad, because that insecurity is created by patriarchy. But there are literally whole industries that control and that induce a body dysmorphia, a self dysmorphia, and that distort the image of women. And it is literally the beauty community itself, an entire market that's constantly telling you and getting you to believe that, yes, you do need a little bit more, and that what you naturally have is not enough. And you need to conceal that. You need to slim this. You need to improve that. You need to get your skin to do this. You need to get your hair to do that. Literally, they're a $1 billion industry that women participate in. While, to women's point, men just wake up, roll over, and walk out the fucking door and never fucking think about whether their skin is glowing.
Right.
Whether their hair is glowing. There are multi-million-dollar ass men with fupas who are 500 pounds and got the baddest bitch on his shoulder. Men do not even remotely think about this type of shit because it's particularly given to women and catered to women and fueled by women. And then to your point, rumors, we wonder why there's so much in-house fighting amongst women's community. Yeah, it's because patriarchy is designing it to be divisive by constantly not affirming women and telling them that they always have to go a step further to be well.
Right. Because I think about like the Sukihanas and, even though I think she's a ratchet mess, what's her name? The one that was, Baby My Everything, the Sexy Reds and all of them, how they're attacked because of what they project, right? And so I don't even think that is really, I think it's actually deeper for women's community based, not just the aesthetics of another female. I think it is just how dare she be more confident, the nerve, and then you couple that with the enhanced aesthetics, the nerve. And I don't fault us for having these insecurities. I fault us for not doing the work. And listen to what I said, us, because I don't have it all together, but I can be honest with myself. If I see another female and I have my nose turned up at that female, I check myself and ask the question, why is my nose turned up? What is my issue? I'll check myself very quickly. And I'll be honest with myself. And I'll usually have the conversation with another female, to check like, the temperature.
Yeah.
Because I like to have people that are really authentic. I don't mind you not having it all together in your thought patterns, but I do have an issue with aligning myself with people that are not self-aware and they're not into self-correction. Because I do think that it is time for us. We cannot look for others to protect us and stand up for us if we're not going to do it for ourselves.
Let me ask you this question, rumors, and you tell me if this resonates. The whole war with cis women against trans women. What I feel like I'd be hearing from natural born women as it relates to, not seeing it for trans women and, trans women are taking up space and blah, blah, blah. What I feel like I'm hearing my translation of that is trans women, I feel the way I feel about you because you give me one more thing to have to compete against in this world that I'm sick of competing in. It's already bad enough. I have to compete with Brenda for Pookie. Now I gotta compete with Brenda and Cherry, and that bitch got the boom too, bitch. I'll have to look in the mirror every fucking day and deal with my confidence that is eroded away at this system that exploits the vulnerabilities and the insecurities that this system has induced in me as a woman. And now I got to contend with you, bitch, Now I have to deal with you in women's spaces amongst a bunch of other motherfucking women that I'm already independently, secretly warring with in my self-esteem. Now, when I go onto the dating market, I have to also deal with whether my man wants me and you too. Because in the words of Nene Leakes, right? I don't want a man who wants you, T.S. Madison. I don't want that. But to your point, there seems to be this discomfort that bio women's community deals with that keeps them from admitting what the real issue is, which doesn't really have so much to do with trans women as it just has to do with the fact that patriarchy has women's community feeling claustrophobic in a system that has ripped away their soul, their minds, their self-image, and then that gets projected onto the gay men who like to play in makeup and wear hair. That gets projected on the trans women. That gets projected onto those who come into that space to participate in the things that are assigned to that group. And then those individuals or that group gets made the enemy when that's not even who created the battle zone to begin with. And
This
that's why
conversation.
it really breaks my heart to see trans women and bio women war with each other, because I'm just like, y'all both are a part of the same system. Y'all are responding to the same system. Y'all are knucking and bucking against the same system. You're being killed by the same system. You're being informed by the same system, and not acknowledging the system and making the actual battle about each other. It is literally the product and the result of the system, not each other. Like, if I'm hungry, like, because I feel like the same fighting that we're seeing amongst the trans and bio women's community is very similar to this issue that America is dealing with when it comes to the resources that are given to immigrants and refugees. It's like this idea that I'm already starving, so no, bitch, I don't want to have to wait longer in line for you when technically, like, should you even be here to begin with? You need to be in your country. Like, I was here first. I have needs, and my needs should be prioritized. Like, I feel like I'm seeing the principle of this, like, poverty mentality across the board, whether it's the tension between bio woman and trans woman, the tension between Americans and immigrants right now. And I'm just like, y'all, we can't conflate the system with each other. We are all victims in this whole thing. All of us, both sides, bio woman and trans woman, are victims of the same system. Americans and immigrants are the victims of the same system. It's the system that's the issue, but we don't prioritize making that the conversation, and instead make the conversation about each other and degrade and disintegrate and reduce and reject and oppress each other in an attempt to get the scraps from the system, instead of coming together and self-actualizing and transcending the system and unifying together. Does that make sense to you?
Yep. I had to just, exhale on my inhale, because this conversation can go it's so loaded, and it could go so many different directions, because there's a plethora of issues that is occurring all at once. It's like throwing a bunch of ingredients in a pot, and now the pot is boiling over, and no one wants to just turn the damn stove off. You understand what I'm saying? The reality is, as I said at the top of this conversation, we're looking for people to give us things that we want should be given to ourselves. Sometimes we need to appreciate the favor that the universe is giving us. That's one. When it comes to this whole feeling threatened, worried about there being a drought on male's community, right? Everybody like crabs in a bucket, reaching for the same male species, like it is really, really baffling to me that we can't step outside of ourselves and see the totality and reality of what's really going on. It is baffling to me.
Erica, did
I can't sit. Huh?
I said, Miss Erica here, she just hit it on the nail. Like, it just doesn't click for me how bio women are the center of the issue when patriarchy creates the triangulation. I refuse to engage. And that's what it will take for trans women and bio women to clear it amongst each other. There would have to be a personal commitment per every natural born woman, per every trans woman, to say, I am not going to engage the divisiveness that is not authored by my sisters. I know this is the doing of white supremacy wrapped up in misogyny and patriarchy being projected as a capitalistic system that benefits from this war and this divisiveness, aka the beauty market, aka the flat tummy tea industry, aka the colorism system that literally monetizes these concepts and monetizes off these insecurities. And it would literally take both sides to be an Erica. Say, nope, my sister's my sister. This ain't about her. This ain't about me. This is the system that got us up in this motherfucker believing that there's only room enough for one of us.
Right.
And that is an illusion, and that is a lie.
Right. And just see the blessing. Like all of the things that is being complained about when it comes to invading our space, that nonsense, it's like you don't see the blessing. You just refuse to see the blessing. I cannot and I will not argue, be mad at another female for engaging with someone that I'm involved with. You have done me a favor. You have revealed to me that this season is over. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You understand? Because everything is not supposed to have a lasting moment in my life. Some moments are short-lived and some are, have a little longer period of time. But it is, and the thing is that every female has literally gone through this. Every woman has, I don't care, trans or not, every woman has experienced this. And then you have the self-awareness once you engage and meet with someone else, like, okay, that wasn't for me. Good riddance. But for some reason, we have been conditioned to think like it's a shortage. And it's what is even more crazy to me is, with all of our independence, with all that patriarchy has forced us to get out here, be the breadwinners, and single parent homes, and all of these things, we say that they don't do for us, we do it for our own, we don't need we have all the gadgets we need to get our sexual fulfillment, right? I mean, for those that are same gender loving that have no interest in us in a sexual manner, we have all the companionship we need, right?
Yeah.
The good Judy, somebody to go out, hang out, talk, we have all of these things, yet we're so hung up on having a mate that we say in general, we don't even want. And that's why I'm saying that I'm calling a thing a thing and calling people out on their bullshit. It is not about the other specimen. It is not. It is about us biting that damn, and we don't ate off of that branch for so long. And we have really, really fooled ourselves into believing the nonsense that has been, instilled into us. Mm-hmm. And we have no reason to do that. I'm never again in my life going to, and I pray to God I don't do it in the next life. I pray that I get it so early in the next life that I never, ever, ever look to someone else to give me the validation that I need for myself, the fulfillment that I need for myself to know who the hell I am and to pour into me first. And never look for anyone else to give that to me. And I want us all to get look in the mirror, know who you are. And if in fact, even me entertaining the whole, we are the blueprint, Why are you upset for someone else following the freaking blueprint? You should be beyond flattered. But again, like, you know, we've had talking points about so many different topics this week with the Miss Petties and all of them. There are some people, like, if you are the blueprint, if you are the author of this.
Speaking of that, look at all the bio on bio division. Look at all these beautiful bio women ripping each other apart, from JT to Nikki and then look at even the gay men and the bio women war. Here it is. You got Saucy Santana and JT at war. You can literally see the way that white supremacy and patriarchy has just literally done all sides in, and all sides are responding to the same four walls of the same building. Same four walls.
Instead of helping each other to tear this shit the fuck down.
Yeah.
Because and I'm going to say when, because I believe in speaking things to existence. I don't know if I'm going to ever see it in my lifetime, but if and when we tear this shit the fuck down, that will be the day. That will be the day. It is really time for us to take back our power and our identities. And what I mean by our identities, I'm not talking about the aesthetics. Yeah. Take back our identities and our self-assurance and awareness of who we are. I'm never going to be disgruntled by another motherfucker that looks to me and find inspiration in me and wants to emulate me.
Yeah.
Why would I? That's so flattering. That's so flattering. And thank you, sis, for taking this ninja off my hands. You have done me such a service that that's a debt I can never pay. Now let me drop a little gems on you so I can let you know what to look at to learn how to protect yourself. But thank you for doing me that.
I got some questions for you. So tick for tat, and then we're going to address what Nurse Moonshine said. And if we have time, you guys, to drop the link at the end, because we got some more topics to get to, we will. But tick for tat says, what does that actually mean? I am the blueprint. Females use that to insult. But in this case, Rumors is using it as in an empowering way. But you can respond to that, Rumors.
No, I'm saying entertaining, literally entertaining that talking point. Women we're the blueprint. We're the blueprint. I don't see how that, like, it is being used to insult, but I don't see how we can even insult someone, like make that a derogatory thing,
because
when in reality it's flattering. And you should be flattered.
But here's the gag. The reason why both parties, trans and bio women, have to even say that is because even that is a response to a system that continues to rip one men's community apart, moment by moment, ad by ad, commercial by commercial, movie by movie, podcast by podcast. Even that, if you have to constantly, and this goes for both sides, which is why I no longer even, honestly, I don't even do affirmations anymore personally. Like, I just am what the fuck I am. But even needing to constantly reaffirm yourself is because you're responding to a system that's not affirming you, which is why you have to make it known and clear. We literally are having those same conversations around Nikki, constantly having to tell us how much she sold. Every time a girl does anything else, every time a woman does anything else, every time another female rapper makes any headway in a misogynistic patriarchal system, aka hip-hop, aka Hollywood, here Nikki goes, she got to run down her laundry list. Ma'am, but you're calling yourself queen. And yet, your works don't speak for themselves, apparently, and you don't even believe those works, which is why you have to hear yourself over and over and over and over and over and over again. When trans women are doing the same thing, oh, women are not the blueprint, are not the blueprint, are not the blueprint. Like this need to separate oneself, or this need to say, no, you're lesser, I'm more, whomever is throwing it from both sides, it's all a response to a piss poor self-image. That, once again, is the injury of patriarchy. And if all sides would just acknowledge that wound and who's really authoring it, they would be able to let each other's hair go, finally. But there is a refusal because the system is so extreme at chewing and gnawing on the soul of woman or of the feminine. Women are having to be in the explicit practice of constantly affirming themselves. I am, to the point that almost we can no longer even admit that I am also insecure. I am exhausted. I am tired. I am competing, bitch. This shit is rough. Somebody just said it earlier on in the conversation. A woman said, it's exhausting to be a motherfucking woman. I can only imagine. I look at women's community as a fucking man and be like, bitch, how? How? Because, girl, I could not imagine. Like, I was literally just watching something, rumors, in my newsfeed yesterday. What was it? I think it had to do with, it was this Black woman who, like, she was at this hotel. I think she was on vacation, and these men tried to traffic her. And I thought about how, as a man, right, I never think about being trafficked ever. Like, when I walk out of my house, I don't give a damn if I'm jogging down the street with nothing but gym shorts on and my running shoes, shirt off, sweaty, moist, the whole, like, I never think about being great. I never have to think about that as a man. I never contemplate, whether it's safe or okay for me to go out at 1 a.m. I as a man, I don't even have to think about what I look like, to be honest. I could be out of shape. I could be balding. I could look any way I want to in this system, and I'm going to be fine. That is not the case for women. And I sometimes, just looking at women's community and looking at the system that's at work, I get exhausted for women. I could not exist as a fucking woman in a system that is constantly at psychological war with me, and hell, and just as much physical war with me.
Right.
So,
But
mind and body is on the cross.
That's the reason why I'm okay with women. If you have to give your affirmations daily, I support you affirming yourself daily, because you've been programmed from the time you left the womb, from the very moment that you've left the womb and entered into this world. And it's going to take affirmation for most of us on a daily basis, maybe sometimes 10 to 12 times a day, to give yourself the confirmation that you are enough and you are who the fuck you say you are. And if someone makes you feel delusional in standing in who you believe to be, tell yourself 1,000 times a day. It is necessary, because in every way you look, no matter if you listen to the radio, look at TV, go on social media, if you're just walking down the street, as Conscious said, there is someone or something to tell you you are less than who you are. I'm here to tell you, despite our many flaws, sis, you bad bitch. You are it. Nobody can take your place. You are more than enough. Sometimes you're too much. Live in it. Stand in it. And don't deny the next female or woman. Don't deny them that same affirmation for themselves, because that's the only way. We have to stop tearing each other down. We have to.
Got to. It got to stop. Yeah. Got to. It got to. I want to, before we transition, I want to first and foremost shout out Baby Daddy Anthony for the Odessa piece. Child support. Thank you, Coresta. Thank you, Baby Daddy. Thank you for the Odessa piece of child support. I also want to shout out, y'all are blessing the cane today. My old Nancy piece of baby mama, honey, sister Craft. Thank you for the Odessa piece of child support. Chet, baby mama. Thank you guys so much. All donation information, you guys, is in the description box below. Okay, I want to talk about, because, misogyny, a lot of bio women don't know, is also informing why they are afraid or disqualify bisexual men or trans-attracted men as candidates, even though these men, because if you let bio woman tell it, right, the pickings are slim and ain't no good men, but bio woman's community is also like doing their fair share of choosing to limit and shrink the dating pool for themselves by prioritizing things that are completely irrelevant, that's completely informed by misogyny, internalized misogyny and patriarchy, such as, oh, if he's bisexual, even though a bisexual man is capable of being attracted to a woman, even though a trans attracted man is typically attracted to both bio women and trans women. And they don't even know that even that's a product of internalized misogyny, internalized homophobia. But also want to ask you too, Rumors, about trans women exposing men. What do you think about bio woman and internalized misogyny as it relates to emasculating men, always consistently over policing men? If a man is too pretty, if he's too clean, if he has any feminine attributes, he walks a little switchy, he got a little limp wrist, he has a elevated voice, he's possibly a cross dresser, which is not orientation. Once again, gender, not orientation, gender. But what do you think about internalized misogyny amongst women's community, and what do you think about trans women outing the men who are trans attracted?
So it's a double-edged sword. The pendulum swings both ways, right? Because I think that there are, not all, but I think there's a large percentage of trans women that do it in order, because they know how natural born women are going to react, right? But in general, I want to call BS on natural born women's community, and I'm going to use you as the prime example.
Oh God, okay.
Look at you aesthetically.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me in your day-to-day life, and even through social media, how often do you post, go live,
Mm-hmm.
that women that know you are same gender loving, identified, throw their panties and pussy, excuse my language, but the truth, throw their pussy through the screen, right? Not at your door, but in your face.
Yes.
But they won't date a bi man.
Right.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. How did Prince be who he is if it wasn't for the reality that clearly there is a capability and capacity by a woman's community? So somebody's not being honest. Like there's a dishonesty trope here.
And that is my reason for saying, like, women are not, my sisters just aren't telling the truth. They're not. A lot of us have seen some oh my God. And we think we have the God almighty power to revert your sexual orientation.
Look, Rumors, when me and one of my men, because I'm poly and polygamous, if me and any of my partners go out, there's always a woman or women throughout the day who are like, girl, do y'all need a wife? Do y'all need a girlfriend? Like, how can I get up in the middle?
And definitely not lying. And they're definitely not lying. A lot of us want to give you the puss. Not just you. A lot of us want to give. We see same gender loving men, and we want the dick. We want the dick.
Funny.
Because we cannot believe, and that goes back to our self-esteem. We just cannot, and to a large degree, we're confident enough to believe that if we get, because for some reason, I guess we think, because males have this thing, we know when a male gives a female that dick, we lose it. We lose all self-awareness. We become so digmatized, so we feel like our vaginas have that same magical power. But male community, and it probably does. Listen to me, it probably does.
And it does have magical components.
But the male community has done they have done such a great job. Even if they are pussy whipped, they do a great job at disclosing it, at hiding, not disclosing it, but hiding it. Their way of hiding it is by going to get another feminine being, which makes us think we're not good enough. But that's a whole other conversation, because myself as well, I believe in polygamy. Because we're not attracted to just one being.
Right.
But because people are not super aware. We have been so programmed when it comes to the Western part of the world. We've been so programmed into believing that things are literally, which I do believe things are black and white, but there are gray areas.
And it's
We
more
are
gray, and it's more gray than there is color. It's more middle
right,
space than it is extreme left and extreme right.
but we don't understand a lot of things because we're not educated enough. We're taught that that happens over in those countries, but it's not about a country. It is about a spiritual being, which our spirits really don't identify gender. That's why a lot of times when it comes, and that's one thing I give women's community, which I do think that we're very hypocritical when it comes to, we will allow ourselves to experiment same gender loving, but we will not identify that way, right? In a large majority. You know, I kissed a girl and I liked it, but I'm not gay. I'm not a lesbian. I'm not bisexual. We already know we don't offer male community the same, right? But then the hypocrisy of it all is that if you can experiment, right? Why can't you accept the fact that your spirit is attracted to more than one being, more than one type of being? Why does it have to be one way or the other? You are doing yourself a injustice by depriving yourself of having an experience that's going to make you feel happy and fulfilled, whether it's in the moment or for a lifetime. And that's just the reality. It's going to always fall back, because it's our own individual lives, right? It's going to always, the responsibility is going to always fall back on us. Because we're depriving ourselves based on the standards of what others say.
And it's literally the double standard of it all, because straight men accept that a woman can still be beautiful even with a shaved head, even dressing like a tomboy or masculinely. There are straight men who are attracted to that because, to your point, women have been given the privilege to express themselves in those ways, while men largely have not, which is, once again, all of that shit is due to socialization. And it's always a cackle to me when people think that, when people mistake their socialization for fact and their socialization for truth, because people really believe in their socialization, having no idea that the way they see the world, the way they relate to the world, the way they relate to other people is literally a product of an idea that's been perpetuated by culture or perpetuated by religion, that there's not a actual tangible reality. There's not a measurable component. It's literally just a construct. It's a construct. Like the way that both men and women have been boxed in is literally due to a bunch of other people's ideas about what a man is and what a woman is and how both men and women should show up, which is really preposterous because, you know, as somebody who practices a lot of personal agency and somebody who is like very clear about my personal autonomy, I find it so absurd when someone thinks that I don't have a right to do with my canvas what I will. If I want to grow my hair out, I will. I have, and I've done so. If as a man, I want to wear extensions, I will. I do, and I have so. If I want to play in makeup as a man, I will. I do, and I'm going to. If I'm a man who happens to be attracted to other men, I'm not pushing back on that. I will do men, and I will allow men to do me accordingly. Like,
Oh, the visual.
I'm not going to align with other people's ideas, and I am clear about the fact that it's just an idea. Whatever you think is okay and not okay, whatever you think a woman is or how a woman should present and how a man should present, that's just a fucking idea. And there are people who will die over these ideas. They will fight tooth and nail. They will separate themselves from family, from friends. They will push people they love away because of a fucking idea that someone else is choosing not to participate in. When it's
And you
all
want to know,
idea.
the irony of that is the people that have pushed that narrative, we have seen time after time after time through scandal, these very people that push that ideology themselves are not living it. Themselves are not living it. From the pastors to the politicians, when it is all exposed, they're not living the very toxic rhetoric that they push onto others. Why do you think they push this narrative and they don't live it themselves? You have to really, really think about that. Have we seen it time and time again, quote unquote, the scandal of the preacher getting caught in the hotel room with a trans or with another male? Have we not seen the hypocrisy of them preaching down on having extramarital affairs or being married before having children? All of the things that they deem sinful and against, quote unquote, God, that they practice themselves. And yet we decide that their words is Bible, is the way of life. We have to conform to their talking points and what they deem is proper and improper for our lives. And we literally allow them to make us miserable by literally trying to live up to these standards that they set for us. And we're miserable that they don't even live these same standards that they set for us. When are we going to wake the hell up? When are we going to wake up? Nobody's ever going to tell me what I could do with my vagina and not do with it. Ever. Nobody's going to ever tell me who I can love and why I cannot love them. Nobody's going to make me look at another person and have hate and disdain for them because they don't like them. They don't agree with them. That's just not going to work for me. I am too strong in my identity and in my
I think you're getting some
how I'm going to live and be happy. Yeah, somebody was trying to interrupt me, but I was saying, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I think there might be a delay.
I can definitely hear you.
Okay, got it. All right.
I can hear you.
Okay.
What I'm saying is no one is ever going to dictate to me what it takes for me to live this life and be happy and to feel fulfilled. I'm not going to look for others to give to me what I should give to myself first, but I'm never going to allow someone to dictate to me what it is that's going to make me happy. If I want to get out here and lay up with 50, 111 niggas, and that's going to make me happy, or females, I'm going to do that. If I want to literally practice celibacy for the rest of my life, I'm going to do that. I think it is something to be said for all individuals who feel like they have to live based upon a standard that they haven't set for themselves, that someone else has set for them. I just had this conversation with my 16-year-old and my 13-year-old nephew. And I said to them, when it comes to your parents, we want certain things for you. And you're going to inherit a lot of what you're taught by the adults in your life. But I need you to stand in your own individuality. I don't need you to just take your talking points from the adults in your life per se. I need you to have enough courage to have whatever experiences you want to have for yourself, as long as they're not going to be harmful to anyone else. And I explained to them what harmful means, because breaking my heart because you choose to, let's say hypothetically, you want to get out here and make 10 kids and never marry the woman. It's not about, that's not hurting me. Ultimately, it's hurting someone else, but it's not about hurting my feelings in that way. I want you to have the experiences you need to have in order for you to gain whatever self-awareness you need to have in order to be a productive human being and live whatever life you want to live that's going to make you happy. You cannot go based upon what society says in this world. And I told both of them, I told them, I said, you need to also leave the States and experience the world. Because staying here just on this side of the planet will have you so effed up. You will think this is the way to live and to be, and you will shortchange yourself. There's more out there that needs to be explored in order. I truly believe that in order to know who you really are and to find yourself, you have to explore beyond this part of the world.
Absolutely. You have to. Absolutely. I agree with all that. I want to, because we're going to get into, speaking of exploring, we got to get into Porsha Williams and her new addition to her orientation. But before I do so, I want to speak to the conversation or the question around trans women outing men. That happens for two reasons. Trans women out trans attracted men because, for one, those men are a part of the problem because they sustain the system that hurts trans women. And it's also a clapback to bio women's community, to Cherry and T.S. Madison's point that we are fucking the same men. Let me prove that to you. Oh, here's your baby daddy in my ass. Here's your husband in my ass. Here's your fiance in my ass. Here's your uncle in my ass. Here's your brother in my ass. Yeah, the one who's out there cosplaying as an exclusively bio attracted woman individual. Yeah, here he is, aka Bobby Valentino, running out of a trans woman's house. Here it is, Young Buck from 50 Cent being exposed again and again and again and again and again for his trans woman dealings. Trans women are proving that the illusion is just that. It's an illusion. And everybody is playing into it. Because when those same trans women die at the hands of the same men that are also unaliving bio women sustain the disillusion that so-called straight bio woman attracted men play into by saying, oh, he killed her for this reason. She should have told. She should have told that man without even knowing what the circumstances were around the trans woman's unaliving to begin with, but all in a rush to justify the man so that they don't have to believe that their men are out there with these women, because bio woman benefits from protecting these niggas who cosplaying, because it also raises their disillusionment. It raises their preposterous, falsified reality that, see, these men belong to us and you women are out here fooling them. But then trans women re-gag bio woman's community when they say, well, no, sis, it can't be that I tricked him because you only looked at me for 5 seconds, bitch, and you clocked my teeth. If we let y'all tell it, y'all always know that we're of trans persuasion. if we let y'all tell it, sis, how could he not know? When you only saw me for 5 seconds, and apparently I'm a man. And you saw that from 1.5 miles away with me sitting in my car, girl, that you could see how big my feet was and how large my Adam's apple was and how broad my shoulders are. So there's no way I could have deceived him when, according to you, child, trans women are so clocky. So how can we be fooling the men? But at the same time, being blamed for our own deaths under the guise that we haven't told these men what you all claim is a truth that can be seen.
Clock it. On top of that, Conscious, like I said, there's a double-edged sword. on top of that, I'm always appalled when it's like, oh my God, no, she didn't. Oh, they trying to like clown, they trying to demasculate her, oh, trying to put him out there, this and third. But we do the same thing. We do the same exact thing. The double standard of it all. Let us find out that we messing with somebody and he got somebody else and we feel threatened. Are we exposing? I don't never see an outcry when it comes to that. So I don't get it. The double standard. The hypocrisy.
Patriarchy got everybody in a motherfucking chokehold, baby. Patriarchy got motherfuckers in a chokehold. Baby, it got the whole system, girl, in a chokehold. But speaking
Like
of chokehold, okay, go ahead.
So I was going to say, we have whole T pages dedicated to exposing these niggas.
Absolutely. And not and the gag is, right? Not just exposing them for being trans attracted or on the download, but for being with simply members of the opposite sex too. There are so many apps just literally just exposing men. And once again, we are blaming the system of men, not men individually, the system of men, aka patriarchy, that is the author of all this fucking confusion. While bio women are birthing, bio women, trans women are birthing, trans women are birthing, bio women, like, and it's the same author, it's the same enemy.
The same enemy. I make this real brief so we can move on. Yes. I just watched for the last 4 to 5 days on IG. I just watched someone cosplaying as trans, right? As a T-girl, have a conversation with a cisgender, natural born woman, right? And the female got up there and, I mean, they were having this whole battered woman, whole dissertation, and guess what the cisgender woman did? Took him back the same night that he was quote unquote exposed.
Of course.
And I said, what's your real issue? What's the real issue? Because the whole, after the same night, I mean, it wasn't even 4 hours later, the same night, you sat on this platform, you went in with this, went in on this mail and everything. And you couldn't believe this and cry me a river and we standing in solidarity together. And not even 4 hours later, oh, I knew that was a nigga and also ugly and all while this nigga is laid up with you. I was just like, we can't keep lying to ourselves. And notice the language I'm using, ourselves. That's because I'm saying specific things in the way I'm talking so that it won't feel like you're being attacked. Because it's not just about this one versus that. It's just we have to do better. Like we just do, and I'm tired. Like conscious, I'm exhausted. I really am.
It should be. But it goes back to what Bub said earlier in the comment section. Because male gaze is the ultimate prize and the disillusionment, but you have to wake up to get away from it. The general public is not awakened, so unfortunately they buy into, get suctioned and vacuumed into the disillusionment of it all. But in the unconscious of it all is male acceptance, male embrace, to be picked. Both all the communities are fulfilling that desire in their own way. Trans women do it in their own way. Bio women do it in their own way. Queer people do it in their own way. Hell, even cis straight men are also after the guys and gays of men. Most things that cis straight men do is literally not to be accepted by women, but to be accepted by the men, to be seen as cool, and to be including promiscuity. That's not to impress women, because women are disgusted by community dick. That's to impress men. The hypersexuality of the cis hetero male community is due to straight men being pick-me-shus. Straight men, straight cis men acquiring wealth in status, largely informed not by impressing women, because even impressing women is to impress other men who looking at that man impress women. Mostly everything about straight cis men is informed by men. So literally, like, the whole system is wrapped up in the spell of attracting and seeking the male gaze. And when you are unasleep behind the wheel, you have no idea that this is what's underneath your homophobia. This is what's underneath your transphobia. This is what's underneath your tension with other women. This is what's underneath it all when you're asleep behind the wheel. But once you wake up and you realize what's happening and you study the system, who it benefits, who authored it, and then you see all of the complex ways it got everything else to prioritize it. Oh man, that's when you become empowered. But you got to dismantle it. You gotta, to your point, educate, inform yourself. You gotta get into the sociology of how all this shit was constructed. How was society constructed? Ironically, who created the Constitution and discovered this version of America, or created this version of America? It's not called the founding mothers. It's the founding fathers. The literal foundation of this version of America was informed by men. The whole system created by, informed by men. And there's only a minority of people who have awakened to that and who are truly operating independently of this psychological terror that's playing out in the Matrix. So to Ruma's point, like, yeah, we really got to stop, like, fighting and fussing, and we got to stop making each other the direct enemy and realize that we're all on the same chessboard created by the same party. And that is where our focus and attention need to be, or else we're always going to self-sabotage by unconsciously, without knowing, participating in the same system that is suffocating us and stripping us. And America is literally, right now, where we are as a nation is literally the reality of that. Look at how this system literally got Americans willing to sell other Americans out and willing to war with their own neighbors, like literal neighbors. Like, you got motherfuckers calling ICE on their neighbors, on their housekeepers, on people whose body and labor and talent they've benefited from. You got our people, melanated people, out of all motherfucking people, who, you know, also participating in oppressing, even though we know directly what it's like to be oppressed. This system has done a motherfucking slam dunk on our asses. It's a mess out here. It's a mess.
So our girl Porsha.
I think we're going to talk about Steven and Ayesha another time, y'all, because I don't want to make this live super long. So Porsha is going to be the last subject, and we'll discuss Ayesha another time. Porsha Williams, child, okay, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that she was once a Baptist preaching, yielding Christian who was actually preaching against the gays before her housewife discovery. So to see her now apparently coming out as bisexual is fascinating. You know, she came out a few years ago as Tatiana, but now she's also coming out as Miss Bisexual. Check this out.
So the people who I'm talking to now, it's just two. I've narrowed it down to two. Okay. And he is nice and she is nice. I really just wanted to make sure that these were normal people. And what I talked about my therapist the other day was, I'm having a hard time opening up because they're not narcissists. And guess what narcissists do? They love bomb you. They do everything. They look perfect. They mirror you. And
Okay, so she goes on to get into some other things, but I just wanted to get into the breaking news of it all. That she is currently actively dating women as well. Women are now a part of what, you know, she's willing to order off the menu. Rumors, what do you think about Porsha?
Welcome, Porsha. Welcome. Welcome. I don't know if she identifies as bi, but welcome. It is very liberating to just live in whatever your truth is at the moment. You know, it was, you know, for me, it wasn't even the fact that she expressed that she was dating women and men as well. Now, you know, I was more delighted in the fact that she can acknowledge that she had a pattern in dating narcissists. And because she was so used to dating narcissists, that she now has to basically strip her mind, her way of thinking and engaging when it comes to dating people that are not narcissists, because that's a whole deliverance. That's a whole deliverance. And when you are used to dating a specific type of person, you pick up these toxic, you know, patterns within yourself. And it makes it really hard when you're dating someone that is healthy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really proud of her for just opening up and realizing that she has some toxic ways that needed to be correct. I'm even more happy that she's not putting herself in a situation where she cannot have the experiences she desires to have. I don't believe that this is her first time being with the opposite sex, personally, but I am happy that she can, not that she had to, but I am happy that she can be open and honest in that way, because the reality is, as we were talking about dating bisexual people, the reality is that we do ourselves a disservice, because the reality, and I keep saying reality for a reason, the truth of the matter is most of us have, and we just don't know it. And for those that don't know, like I said, in using you as the example, most of us want to date someone that is quote unquote same gender loving, you know, just want to get a piece. I'm happy for her. A lot of people have been indoctrinated based upon quote unquote the religious practice and teachings, and they won't be honest and say, I've had these experiences. This is what I'm into. This is what I've tried. This is what I like. Because they don't want to be a part of the minority. They seek and want the approval of others. Good for you, Porsha. I'm glad you were able to speak your truth, and I hope she stays in counseling, and just become more and more self-aware and self-correcting of herself. I think it was really major of her to bring up the fact that she just basically was attracted to narcissists, and she just continued like enjoying being love bombed and all of those things, you know. It wasn't serving her any real justice and real happiness. It was all monetary. Hopefully this go round in her life, as she's continuing in her therapy, she can find some more liberation, and she can speak some more to truth and power of how being herself and doing what makes her happy ultimately is bigger than having the approval and the acceptance of what the majority say is the norm, when we know that the majority are very freaking hypocritical. So I'm proud of her. You know?
Yeah. I wonder if she can relate to her ex-husband Cordell now that she also too is on the spectrum. I agree with what Ruma said. You know, it's important, people, to give yourself time to grow up. And one of the key components to growing up successfully and evolving successfully is by being brutally honest with yourself. It has to start there. It's really unnerving to think about how many people, because of their refusal to be honest about the way they feel, about what they desire, about what they want, live their whole lives in that darkness, to your point, to be accepted, to be socially acceptable, made choices that were for other people, spent time with people, spent time being intimate with people who they were not being fulfilled by, just so that they could have the love of the church or the love of their family or the love of their peers or the love of their community. I mean, to think about the way in which people have destroyed their lives because of this inability to not be liked. This inability to not be liked. There's a strength in being capable of being unliked. There's a strength in being even unlovable at times. There's a power in being able to be okay with that. So I'm really happy that she is being honest. And I think that this type of self-discovery needs to go on way before we end up in marriages, way before we end up with families. People need to give themselves an opportunity to really live and to really be who they are, and give themselves the opportunity to feel around through their lives, so that you don't end up in a miserable ass reality at some point in time thinking that it's too late and now you're going to go to your grave a miserable, unfulfilled ass individual. So I'm really happy that she's on a journey of self-discovery. And to your point, she's discovering a lot of things. She's discovering her dynamics with narcs, and that seems to be awakening her, and she's learning about her own toxicity, and she's having to unlearn things, and she's having to get comfortable being comfortable. It's really profound and powerful. And, you know, even if it is shallow, even if Porsha is saying this just, you know, for the sake of relevancy or you know, being performative, the fact that the message and the takeaway is still the same. The message and the takeaway is still the same, that people need to live in their truth, and people need to understand that sometimes, like, that living in your truth, like all realities, it ain't perfect, including living a lie. Even though most people are weak enough to live the lie obviously comes with the side effects of the self-loathing, the personal depression, the personal unhappiness that nobody knows about, being a high-functioning, unhappy-ass person. So the way the math works itself out in my mind is, bitch, I'd rather actually be my authentic self and deal with the side effects of that rather than to be my false self and deal with the side effects of that. Because at least if I'm showing up as who I am, at least I'm actually affording myself to get some of the shit that's real savory and sweet to me in life, even if I got to pay for it on the back end, even if that got to come with changing friendship groups, even if that has to come with not being able to go the full mile with my relatives and having to leave some people behind, etc. But at least if I'm being my fucking self, I actually have a chance to live alongside the things that really turn me up and really turn me on intellectually and spiritually and materially. I would rather that, because that's the lesser of two evils, than to live my inauthentic self and have to suffer personally in silence, because there's no way for anything I want to come in if I have pledged my allegiance to my false self. So I would take my time, bobbing to get the surface of the water and getting my breaths in as I swim along and find my way, than to be completely submerged underwater, which is what I imagine being your inauthentic self is like. It's the complete submergence. It's the complete suffocation. And it's attempting to live like that, holding your breath. I'm not willing to live my life holding my breath. I'd rather die breathing and take my chance and die a real person and a authentic person, and die with as much joy in me than to live my life holding my breath. Just not gonna do that.
And that is for that reason. That is why I always embrace when I'm uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's moments that I enjoy being uncomfortable.
Yep.
You know, I know that eventually I'm going to find the space I need to become comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a lesson there for me. You know, I realize that this is the only way that I'm going to self-correct. The uncomfortability lets me know there's something wrong here.
Yep.
You know, so I embrace it at all times. I encourage others. I don't run away from it. I don't deny it. I don't try to force myself to live through it. And I think everyone should practice that. You know, things when you get those feelings that something's not right, when you feel like you're doing everything right, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. It's not about how someone else is treating you per se, but how you are living your life. Because our choices ultimately, people cannot do to us what we don't allow. And this is not just for a romantic relationship. This is for every relationship and adjacent to every person in your life. We place ourselves too often in the hands of people to have so much control over us, to dictate our happiness and our actions and our movement. And we have to stop doing that. We disempower ourselves that way.
Yeah.
And we must all stop doing that. And collectively, after being self-aware and being in actually doing the work, stop perpetuating that onto others. Our humanity needs to be completely washed, rinsed, hung out to dry, and reawakened. Because that when I look at all of this that we've talked about and other things we talked about, I see that our humanity has been poisoned to the extent that we no longer care, not just for others, but even ourselves. Because ultimately, even how we interact and engage with others reflects on how we treat ourselves. I can't be good to my self-conscious and not be good to you.
Right.
That's a reflection, because I'm doing humanity a disjustice by not being good to you. Then means I'm ultimately not being good to myself.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. It all comes back to self. Yeah.
Right.
It all reflects.
And so I just want to tell the crew I love y'all. To my Black sisters, I promise you to God I love y'all. I want so much of the best for us. We may not all agree. We may not all have the answers and how to do everything. We may not all necessarily be on the same path, but ultimately, we all should have the same desires. And that is for everyone to live a healthy, fulfilling life. What I eat, quote unquote, will make you poop, and vice versa. But we all can eat together. There is more than enough out here for us to give to ourselves, but also to give to someone else. We don't have to keep tearing each other down, as you say, to be a pick-me-sha. That is not necessary. And I'm going to keep telling us this. There are toys out here for us to self-pleasure. We have community amongst each other, that even if we feel like at times everyone's against me, there is, if it's only 10 out of 100 people that's for you, those 10 people are enough. The universe knows exactly what it's doing by giving us what we need. Sometimes we want more than what we need. Stop being selfish.
Yeah. Benji said I would never jump on the hate train on period, baby. We got to come together, y'all. And we need it more now than ever, honey. It's time for Captain Planet, honey. We got to combine all of our elemental power. We got to combine as one, because this system is forcing us to be one. It's scooping us all up in the same dustpan. So we're literally being forced to be one. We might as well lean into it, since we're getting an extra boost from the system to really, really, really become one. I agree with everything that Roma said. Freedom, joy, love, and happiness. That's what life is all about, child. And we need the unity, y'all. So, yeah.
I love you so much, Conscious, and I thank you for always willing to have the conversation. And I'm never going to say no. And I'll tell you, I don't feel like it, but I'm going to always show up when you ask, because I do understand it's necessary, and I think, like I did today, I said, I know my ancestors was tired. I know they were, but they still did it. You understand what I'm saying? And even beyond that, I know the universe is tired. I know the universe is tired of our asses. However, we still here. So, we have a job to do individually, and we have a job to do collectively. I'm not giving up. I know that we can do it. And like I said, I may not physically be here to ever see it. My spirit will see it. And I know the next generation to come is going to see it and experience it. And they may be the ones to actually implement it. But it is time for us to get it together. I'm appreciative of you so much for giving us this opportunity and space, and you never denying the opportunity to have the conversations.
It's my pleasure, as always.
Thank you very much.
So me and Room with you guys, we're gonna bless y'all with that Ayesha Curry a commentary at some point. But her and I are playing that out because that's a whole nother conversation, but it kind of goes on brand with what we're talking about here. But we'll get into that later since we don't be here long enough. But thank you, Arumas. I love you so much. Boo. The Conscious crew always goes up to you. They always enjoy you. You become prophetess Rumas over here, child. And the people always get their life. So is there anywhere you want to tell the people to find you at out here on social media?
Y'all know I'm on Instagram, but y'all know I don't post. I don't go live every time I do. I just think I do so much better engaging face-to-face one-on-one. I think the universe is sparing people, because don't get it twisted, Rumors and Tea can be extremely ratchet. Y'all remember when I first came on here, and now I'm just in my soft girl era, and I don't got time. I don't have time to be going back and forth with degenerates, people that choose to remain in ignorance. I don't need us to agree on everything, but people have their own agenda that does not align with what the universe has for me. So y'all want to see me, I'll be on this platform, I'll be moderating, and if I do get, I post a lot on my personal page. I do a lot of engagement on my personal page, but I don't want y'all on it over there.
So you can basically on here, goddammit, okay?
Y'all can catch me on here. I love y'all. I went to rambling. I didn't mean to do that, but I love y'all. Truly. Don't forget to like. Yeah, don't forget to like and share. And please, most importantly, don't forget to drop your donations at the throne. Yes, we love y'all. Love your Conscious. I'll talk to you later.
I love you too, boo. Y'all, this was a great and riveting show. This was everything. Always enjoy my boo. She's like the female version of me. Okay. I may come back later. I'm going to give me some food because I've been doing some intermediate fasting. So, I eat once a day and around a certain time. So after I put some fuel in my body, we may be back to get into some more things. If you enjoy it yourself, you can always support the platform. Great. If you want to, if it's dinner on you today, okay? You can always bless the Cash App at $Consciouztv and or paypal.me/Consciouztv, Conscious with the Z on the end. You can email me all the tea, all celebrity gossip, etc. to my Instagram DMs and or my email, consciouztv@gmail.com. You can also sign up for Patreon. It's $5 a month. The notifications always work, and we get into Patreon over there as well. Not as much as we do over here, but we get there as well. And I am going to be bringing you guys some content for sure. I love you guys. Have a great Sunday. And tell me what you guys think of Cherry the Boom and T.S. Madison's talking points, as well as Porsha Williams, honey, giving that ass to both sides. Oh, yes, God. I will see you guys later. Peace.